guys, thank you for tuning in to Miss Callie Cooks. My name is Denise. I'm going to tell everybody who is new, thank you for tuning in and watching, coming to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And everybody who is not new, who's already subscribed and they got me on their notifications, you are well appreciated, and I thank you and love you for being supportive and tuning in and watching me and just really supporting me. So I appreciate that. So you guys already know from the title, this is a uncut, raw and uncut Q&A. And it's going to be a two-part series because there is a lot of questions and a lot of great questions. And I think the reason why I have so many questions from everybody was because everybody knows that I used to date Chris Jones. Actually, majority of my following probably on here is from Chris Jones. And we were in a relationship for 4 years. So a lot of people, seen me, in his videos, and they've always known me to be around. So a lot of people have a lot of questions on why we split. What's the real reason? Because we did put a reasoning of why we split on his channel, but it didn't go into detail. It was very quick, simple, 3-minute video. So a lot of people are kind of asking, for a little bit more questions to be answered and a better understanding, because you guys are a part of our lives. Once you put your life on Instagram, you are almost damn near obligated to explain why things are going the separate ways. And the fact that the people who also, listed questions, trying to figure out, who I really am, because I've always been in the shadows, what my plans are, and, vice versa. So I have tons of questions. So this part one Q&A is going to be just questions that pertain to me, not me and Chris, but just me. So I'm going to have the questions listed at the bottom in the description and the time where it ends. So if you guys don't want to sit through all the questions, you guys can pick and choose the questions that you want to know and just look at the description box and know how, you can kind of skim through it. I have a tendency to make long ass videos anyway. So I'm gonna start doing that, putting in the description. I'm gonna put that in the description, the questions that you guys want to know or want to be answered. So the first question that pertains to me: what motivated you on making this YouTube channel? Well, basically, I've always been in the videos with Chris. I enjoyed it and I got used to it. And at that point in time, I was like, a lot of people kept asking me, Denise, when are you going to come out with your own channel? What are you going to do? What can you do? What are you good at? And, you should have your own channel. You're this, you're that. So when we had split, it was a little easier for me to go ahead and make the channel, because the simple fact that it was kind of awkward to just have two cameras with everywhere we go. I'm doing a channel, he got a channel, we go, on trips, we're both vlogging. It was just too much at that time. So when we split up and went our separate ways, I felt that it was appropriate for me to start branching out and doing my own thing. So, what kind of hair products do you use, and what is your hair regimen? I use a lot of Shea Moisture products. I use a lot of natural oils like jojoba oil, what else? Carrot seed oil, avocado oil. My go-to is castor oil. It's very thick, but it does well for my hair, and I use it as a deep conditioner sometimes, and then I just rinse it out in the morning as I leave it in overnight. My regimen, is the braids. I keep a hair protective style all the time. I really don't let my hair out and free like some natural hair women do, just mainly because I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something. I don't have time to be sitting there fidgeting with my hair, messing with my hair every night, trying to get it ready for the morning. The braids that are easy, I wrap my hair, get up and go. What are some short and long-term goals? Well, my short-term goal for this year, 2017, is just basically focusing on me. I want to establish better credit. I have fair credit, but I want good and excellent, because I do want to be able to buy a house one day. So my focus is bettering my credit, growing my channel, and growing my Instagram. and Facebook. Those are my short-term goals for this year. My long-term goals are to be able to establish, my YouTube, get my own business, buy a house, and maybe, get married and have kids. So that's my I said that's between 5 years. I would want those things to be accomplished. If not sooner, then that's fine too. But I want those things to happen in that row within 5 years. What do you look for in a man? Well, I look for a man who's a provider, a protector, who's loving, who's caring, who's respectable, loyal. What else? Just somebody who be able to communicate with me, be mature about things, to handle things, to talk to me when things are not going well, and just all around decent man. I want him to be spiritual. I want him to be financially, mentally, emotionally, and financially secured in himself and whatever it is that he is doing. Are you looking for dating anyone soon? No, not this year. I'm not dating anybody, and I'm not looking to date anybody at this moment, just because I'm not ready. I'm still emotionally connected to my ex, Chris. So I'm not quite there yet. Do I have any friends? No, not yet. Maybe one day. I'm not sure. It depends on, where I am in my life at that time. What favorite cereal or music artist? Favorite cereal, granola cereal, Cheerios. Favorite music artist, I would have to say Beyonce. She's my girl. I'm digging Bruno Mars right now. Oh, I downloaded his album, 24K, and I have been rocking that in the gym. I've been rocking that at home. So those are my two artists right now that I'm really feeling. Do you feel staying behind the camera could have been beneficiary for the continuation of the past relationship? Me staying behind the camera wouldn't have made or break the relationship with me and Chris. I honestly feel that I liked being in the camera. I like being a part of the YouTube. I like being a part of his life. And I'm glad that he introduced me to YouTube. I'm glad he introduced me to you guys, because I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy doing YouTube. So he introduced me to YouTube, and I appreciate that. So I honestly don't think that me staying behind the camera would have made my relationship better or worse. We were going to do us regardless if people influenced it or not. Do I plan on moving back to California? No, it's too expensive. Favorite 90s and 80s group? H-Town, Boyz II Men, Jagged Edge, SWV, Silk, R. Kelly, man, the list goes on. I'm a huge R&B fan. Me and Chris both are huge when it comes to R&B. And Pretty Ricky, even though that's not an 80s and 90s, that's like more of a 2000, but they still was rocking back in the day. Any chance of you getting Bruno a little brother or sister? Yes, I do plan to get Bruno a brother. I do not want a girl, but I don't know. I do plan to get him a sibling very soon. I want that to be maybe a small goal this year, or maybe next year, but he's definitely going to be getting a sibling very soon. Why did I move to Texas? Long story short, I used to work at this job called In-N-Out Burger, and I was there for 10 years, and they were they were adding stores here in Texas, and they asked if I wanted to transfer, and I said yes, and so that's how I moved out here. You committed to the gym now? Wait, are you committed to the gym now? Because Chris said you never stayed committed. I was always committed to the gym. I just wasn't committed to dieting, eating correctly. I struggled with dieting macros, but I always went to the gym. Never had a problem with it. How do you feel about pump chasers female athletes like Sandra? Well, long story short, when Sandra first met Chris, I didn't know who Sandra was. The first year that they were hanging out and doing videos, I didn't know who she was. I wasn't introduced to her. She wasn't introduced to me. She didn't even know about me for a very long time. And then one day, I guess she started watching Chris's videos. She started to see me, and then she ran into me in the bathroom and we started talking. There was a point in time where I was like, who is this chick? I don't know her. And, I kind of had some animosity because I would always see them together and, having a good time working out. She was laughing at his little corny ass jokes. And I'm like, little girl, you be laughing at my man's jokes a little too much. But, that was back then. And when I found out that she didn't like fast swole niggas and she wasn't interested in him like that, it kind of gave me a little like, okay. But we became really good friends. And now that she still works for Pump Chasers, I love her. And we are really, we're really good friends. We don't hang out outside of, Pump Chasers. But when she comes to work, me and her in office, laughing, chopping it up, talking, giggling, and just, having a really good time at work. And we get our job done and, we have a great friendship. So yes, thumbs up for Sandra. And about the other athletes, I only know Maria, and I met Courtney, I think that was her name. I met her once. I know Maria. As far as the other athletes, I know of Alyssa, and we are friends on Instagram, but the other girls that were are there, I don't know them like that, but I have no animosity towards them or anything like that. I just don't know them because that's not my era. I focus on managing the Pump Chasers clothing. I don't get involved with the athletes. What's after Pump Chasers manager? Well, I don't know how long I'm gonna be a Pump Chasers manager. I love what I do. I love working for the gym. I love my position, but there is going to be a time where I will probably have to branch away and do my own thing and have my own business. Only way I was going to be only way I would be staying with Pump Chasers as a manager is if me and Chris were married. But since we're never going to get married, there's no real reason why I need to continue to dedicate myself as a manager to a business when I definitely have bigger goals for myself. But I love Pump Chasers, and I don't know when that day is going to come when I will branch away, but I know that it will come eventually one day. Was Bruno practice run for kids? No. People assume that Bruno was brought into this family first and then I came. I've read comments about, how can Denise take your dog, Chris? Bruno was there way before, before she was. Where the hell y'all been? Like, where were y'all? Y'all must be new Pump Chasers because new Pump Chasers fans. Because if you go back to POG, I was there, brought Bruno home from the breeder. Long story short, I had put a $500 deductible on Bruno before he was even born, before I even met Chris. I had planned to get this dog before I even knew Chris existed. Before he even came into my life, I had put my $500 that I earned and saved up and use it as deposit for Bruno before he was even born. So when me and Chris met and got together, Bruno was finally born. And I told Chris, like, look, I have a dog coming. And me and Chris were only together for like a month. And Chris was like, I wish you would have told me that before we got together. That's a responsibility I didn't ask for, which is true. He didn't ask to be a dad to Bruno, but I had no choice. I already had paid for him. So I brought Bruno home and Chris fell in love with him like I knew he was because he's a handsome boy. And he, took him, as his own, but people would just come up with crazy shit. I'd be like, what the hell? No. So that's why Bruno stays with me, because people didn't understand why Bruno didn't go with Chris and why he stayed with me, because he's literally legal licensed to me. When you have a purebred dog, there's a registration that you have to fill out. He is registered to me. He was never registered to Chris. But I'm not saying that he's not Chris's dog. He is Chris' dog too. But legally, he's registered to me. So that's why he came with me, because if they lost him, say he was living with Chris and got out and got lost, they will return him to me anyway. So yeah, people, y'all just retarded. I don't know where y'all got that from. Y'all just need to just hush up on that. That really pissed me off. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Could you ever see yourself starting a cooking book? Yes. Someday down the future, I would like to have a cooking book. What's the most important thing you make a relationship to run smoothly? Communication and respect. I think those are the two main important things, on top of being loyal, but definitely communication and respect. If you respect somebody enough, you're going to be loyal to them, because you're not going to want to hurt them. And if you communicate to your partner, then you're going to find out that partner might be doing something to you that, they don't know, they're not aware that they're doing it. And then that way they can change some of the ways. So then that way they're not disrespecting you. So communication and respect and loyalty are the three things to me in a relationship that will run smoothly, and everything else will start to fall into place. What do you like to do when you're not cooking or working? I like watching YouTube videos. I like watching TV. I like trying out different restaurants. I like hanging out with my friends. I love, when me and Chris were together, I loved hanging out with him. I love hanging out with my family. So when I get the chance to go down there to see my family, I'm there. I never leave my nephew's side. I never leave my sister's side unless she has to go to work. And I never leave my dad's side. I am devoted to my family and my friends and the people that care about me and love me. So the things that, that I like to do for fun is just really be around good people, good vibes, and just living life, whether it's eating good food, having nice drinks. I'm a very simple woman. I do like traveling. I like seeing the world. I want to see the world, and I like going to different places. And I like trying new things. So those are the things that I like to do if I'm not cooking. Would you ever date a guy that's into bodybuilding lifestyle again? No, I would not. Don't get me wrong. I like the muscle. I love the muscle. I love muscle. But the bodybuilding lifestyle is a very selfish lifestyle. Whenever a man or a woman who is committed to that lifestyle, you are basically understanding that you would not be a priority. They themselves and the gym will be their priorities. Their top 2 or 3 priorities. So you have to understand that and kind of take the step back and let them do them. But I don't think I would date another bodybuilder. I think Chris is probably the first and last. But there's no telling. I might meet somebody who fits all my criteria, and he so happens to be a bodybuilder, and we work well. But I don't think I ever will. Or date a guy who does YouTube as well. No more social media groupie type guys who are always in the damn mirror taking a million photos. Gotta look good on Instagram. Unless their business requires them to have a steady social media, I can understand and get with it and get used to it. But I am not dating another YouTuber, and I'm damn sure not dating another bodybuilder, and I'm definitely not dating an Instagram whore. Sorry for my language. No, that drives me crazy, especially because I know firsthand how vain it could be. How have you been since losing your sister? What has the process been like for you? Well, I lost my sister in June 2016, June 18th, 2016. She was 21, and she committed suicide. 2016 was a very, very, very difficult and hard time for me. Losing my baby sister to suicide is literally the worst feeling in the world. Because when when a sibling or a parent or anybody that you're close to is deeply depressed, and there is nothing you can really do to help them, especially if you tried everything. And I lived so far from my sister, and it was so hard to be able to help her the way that I wanted to help her. And it was very, very, very difficult. So 2016 was difficult. I lost my sister. My dad lost his business, and I was basically helping him, with bills, and I didn't want him to lose the house. So I literally emptied half of my savings trying to help my father stay above water and keep his bills being paid, and him dealing with my sister being deeply depressed, and then losing her. It was just the worst year of my life. And then seeing my relationship with Chris crumble, I was struggling with so much, and everything was out of my control. Everything was out of my control. I couldn't save my relationship because it's more than just a one-way street. It's two ways. And losing my sister, I couldn't save her, and I couldn't save my dad's business. And my dad lost our mother, his wife, 5 years ago. He lost his business. He lost his daughter, and everything was out of my control. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do nothing to help him as much as I could. I could only do as much as I could. How do I get through it? Well, number one, the main thing that I do is I talk to people about it. I talk to people about her death. I talk to people about what happened, how it happened, and it helps me cope and accept her not being here. And I cry. I just cry. Some days I just lay in bed and I just cry. And I cry because I'm never, ever, ever going to see her again. Never. I have a voicemail that I save. She called me and she left a voicemail, and I sometimes save it and I'll replay it just so I can hear her voice. Or I go to her Instagram and she has videos of her singing and talking, and I just replay them over and over again, because that's the only thing that I have of her, of hearing her voice and just her presence. And me and my family have been through so much because of that, and it is so deeply hard. I can't even explain how difficult that was, how difficult that is to lose somebody so close to you. And I don't want anybody to go through that, because it is a feeling that it's a feeling that never goes away. Now, it might become easier over time. You adjust to it, you get used to it, you get used to that feeling, but it never goes away. It never goes away. So that's that. Sorry, I had to cry because it's a very, 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 very sensitive and emotional subject. But I talk about it because it exists. Suicide does exist. You hear it all the time. You hear people whose family members have passed away from suicide, but you never think that it would be somebody close to you. I never in a million years thought that I would lose my sister to suicide. So anyway, next question. Does a guy have to be an entrepreneur to date you, or does a square nigga have a chance? Well, I mean, okay, Chris, he's square. Chris is not hard. He is not that kind of person. He's a square. He likes comics, comic books, Dragon Ball Z, the list goes on. So I'm not saying no to square men. Does he have to be an entrepreneur? No, he doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. If he is, that's cool. If he's not, that's cool. You know, if he has, you know, a career job, you know, maybe he's a fireman, maybe he's a police officer, maybe he's a doctor, or whatever the case may be. I'm not really worried about where and how he makes his money. As long as he's able to take care of himself and a future family, then we're good. What is your favorite lipstick brand? Of course, MAC, ColourPop, Dose. What else? Who else I've been rocking lately? And NYX. Those are my top 4. I've been rocking them for a long time, and I've been rocking them every day. Every time you see me in a picture, I'm usually rocking 4 out of those. 1 out of those 4. I'm either rocking 1 out of those 4. So if the price is right, would you ever take another offer from another fitness company to help them in their business? No. And the reason why is because I like working at Pump Chasers. I know the business. I helped Chris build this business. I was the one who learned how to ship. I was the one, you know, me and Chris didn't know how to ship. So what I did was I went on Google and I learned. I watched YouTube channels and I learned and I figured it out. I told Chris, we need to get this, we need to get that, and we got to do it this way. And so I feel that this business is part of my, you know, the Pump Chasers is part of me. It's you know, the baby that I hope Chris raise. And, you know, I like where I'm at, and I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to sit there and just go off and start working for another fitness company because they pay more. I'm loyal. I stick to where I'm at, you know, but if I was being mistreated or, you know, not being paid well or feeling, you know, taken advantage of, yeah, of course I'll leave, you know, but I'm not that type of person that if the money starts calling, then I'm just going to be like, deuces, they're paying me more. You know, I'm loyal and respectable to Pump Chasers. What is the next place you would like to travel to? My next place I want to travel to is the Dominican Republic, then maybe Dubai, and then maybe start hitting some more exotic places like South Africa, Australia, India, Cambodia, you know, start getting those places. I will eventually get there. This year, I want to travel to 2 countries, and that is Dominican Republic and Dubai. Those are my 2 number ones this year, and trust and believe they will get done. Last question for part 1. Would you ever make a clothing line? Probably not. I have thought about making a swimsuit line. It's still in the idea process, but I haven't put any real thought into it. But I don't plan on getting into another fitness clothing line, or making a fitness clothing line, or making just regular t-shirts or anything like that. It's a lot of work, and it's not something I'm 100% interested in. But when it came to swimsuits and lingerie, caught my attention. So maybe somewhere down the future, I might get into something like that. All right, guys. So I just want to thank you guys for watching part 1 of this Q&A. Like I said, I had a lot of questions, a lot of great questions that everybody wanted to know. So part 1 was just basically about me and things that are personal to me. Part 2 is going to be about me and Chris. So if you guys want to see that, watch part 2 of the raw and uncut, and it's going to go into detail about me and Chris. So you guys go ahead and start watching part 2.